Hi Math 09X students. We are at the end of week 1 and I have been getting a lot of questions, which is good, which is fine. That's what I'm here for, is to answer your questions. But I'm getting a lot of the same questions, and a lot of the questions are things that I think you can find an answer for yourself, and it may be a little bit better for you to find the answers for yourself and see them in a more of a visual and audio way inside of MyLabs Plus than from me trying to type out the answers back to you in 5 or 6 email back and forths. So I just want to remind you of some things that are in MyLabs Plus to help you. Remember that I did, and I sent these out in an email as well, but under the Start Here tab, there is a welcome. It's a 3-part welcome video series here that goes through kind of the high points of the course, an overview without getting into all of the nitty-gritty details. But there are videos there that you can watch where I go through kind of all of the basic layout and structure of the course. There's also a video about how to navigate through MLP. So if you're having trouble finding things, you're not sure where to look for certain things, please watch this video that I have already made that will kind of take you through what lies under all of these tabs. The other things that I'm getting a lot of questions about are things that the answers can be found either in your syllabus. So there's a level 91, 92, and 94 syllabus in each course. Find your correct one, whichever class you're in, and open that up and read through it. The syllabus is the contract for the course, and you are responsible for knowing everything in the syllabus, even if I don't sit and read through it with you. So it's got my office hours, it's got all kinds of testing information in here. The attendance policy is very well written out in here. You can use that for your first week's attendance assignment if you haven't yet. The levels that you need to score on assignments to pass, how long you get on exams, and the pace. So this is an 091 syllabus, so this is every date and where you should be by that Friday, or sorry, by that Sunday. Okay, so there's a syllabus for every level. I recommend opening that up, reading through it. Maybe you print it off and keep it in a binder next to wherever your workstation is. Another really important document under here is the course policies document. I'm getting lots of questions that answers are found in here. Questions about how do I take a pretest, or what are the rules along with that, or how do I work through it? What's the guided notebook? How does this all work? Here are some more apps for scanning your work. I've been fairly lenient for the first few days here on accepting JPEG images, but I really need you to start using a scanning app, especially if your document is more than one page. The PDFs that get scanned to me are easier for me to read, and they're easier for me to kind of make bigger or smaller on my screen so that I can have it up and your test up both at the same time and not have to be flipping back and forth. And it will help me to get your results back to you a lot faster. Calculator information, how I and the facilitators can help you, what in the world is going on with the guided notebook. That information is in here. More attendance information, explains that very, very thoroughly. And testing information about what's proctors, what can I use, what can I not use. If you're going to video yourself, how that should look. All kinds of really, really, really important information in there. Okay, so again, you need to know all of that information, but I can't read through it all with you. The pacing document is in here. We've been talking this week, or I have been talking to you back and forth in your attendance assignments about the difference between pace and attendance. So pace is right here. There's a document right here that shows you, no matter what level you're in, exactly where you should be every week. I print this off and I stick it on my wall behind my computer at home, and I suggest you do the same, and then you follow your column through. And what's really another really important thing under here is the guided notebook example. So if you're thinking, or if you're wondering, what is a guided notebook supposed to look like? What does it all include? This is just a snippet of a guided notebook and what we're looking for there. So this is, for example, just the 3.3 guided notebook. So we expect all of your printout pages filled in with nice detail in all of those so we can see that you're doing your work and that you understand what you're doing. Then you will have homework assignments that needs to be labeled, numbered, work done neatly, answers indicated for any homework problems that you have, and the same thing with progress checks. Those should be labeled, numbered, and written out clearly. Now, while I've got this up, I want to talk about the testing scratch work. Your testing scratch work should look exactly like this. When you send me your pre-test or your post-test papers, it should be scanned and it should have just this much detail with it. And I mean, every single step needs to be written out. So I know a lot of you maybe are thinking, I don't need to show work, or I can do some of these things in my head, but something simple, I'm trying to find a good example. Perhaps when you get to the 5x equals 30 line, you just know that the answer is 6. That's great if you know that the answer is 6. I think that that's awesome. And I mean, I'm really happy about that. But I need you to show me how you get to the 6. Your work is convincing me that you know how to do this problem and that you're not getting the answer from somewhere else and not really understanding it. So just approach everything with that point of view of, this is me convincing Carrie that I know exactly what I'm doing without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm going to spell it out for her. You're basically in charge of teaching me what you know. So you are going to very clearly spell it out. I know that the answer is 6 because I know I divide both sides by 5, and that's how I get to my answer. If you skip steps, even steps that seem that simple, you can lose credit and it can cause you to not pass the exam. Okay, even something like this, identify the like terms. Well, that doesn't seem like there's any work to show, but you could show me some kind of work. You could show me like that I know that the x's are considered like terms, so I'm going to group those together, and those are like terms. And I know that the y's are like terms, so that's why I group those together. So there are ways to show work even for things that maybe you feel are fairly easy. So try to show me all the work that you possibly can to avoid any lost credit and any having to take tests over again. All right, hopefully that will clear up a few of the things that I feel like have been overall a little bit confusing throughout week 1. If you cannot find the answer to your question in any of those places, definitely still email me. I am right here. I just want you to also, in your process of answering one of your questions, you may find answers to questions that you didn't even realize you had. So I really think there's some good into searching for those questions yourself, those answers for yourself when you can.